Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, your main man, Derek Stroman. You know, I got a couple aliases, right? So I had to be careful there because, when we at TV Free, we mix it up a little bit just to keep things interesting. Of course, you guys know I am an entertainer, so I like to entertain. And my esteemed colleague is not going to be a part of this mobile central interview that I broadcast from my own home office uh, as an extension of our Speak Your Mind show that we do at TV Free Baltimore. So much love again to my colleague, Johnny Lang. Um, but sometimes you got to get these guys in, get these interviews out the way because time waits for no man, as we all know. So this was very important for me and personal, touching to the heart to bring in this gentleman, young man who's been through a lot in his young life, and some we will talk about tonight, and some we won't. It might be good for a later interview. Good young man. He's actually in Ohio right now and has been for a while. He's been training diligently. He's been getting in shape physically, mentally, getting himself prepared for his upcoming fight in April. That is April 10th. So it's right around the corner. I believe that's next Saturday. So um, good young man. He's a Dundalk native, and I'm just proud to have him. I'm proud to have coached him, had the opportunity to coach him during his latter years in high school, and now he's doing big things, man, and he's making a name for himself, the Budka name and the Budka family. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring in Dylan Budka. You guys say what's up to Dylan. My fault, Dylan. I got to unmute you there. What's up, Dylan?
How you doing, brother?
Doing well, doing well. It's good to have you on board, brother. I know you're doing some major things, and it's been a test. It's been trying. It's been a lot of work. Like I said just a second ago, mentally and physically. But what are you doing to keep yourself mentally sound for one thing for the fight that you got coming up? But what have you been doing thus far to keep yourself physically and mentally prepared for all the challenges you've underwent?
Um, just continuing to push through all of it, man. Just surrounding myself around great people that I've surrounded myself in Ohio. A great team of trainers and coaches. Surrounding myself around good friends. I said this in the first interview we had. Just surrounding myself around positive vibes, because being around positive vibes always creates a positive outcome.
Well, positivity, that always stems everything. I mean, if you have a lot of negative flow around you, automatically that kind of energy is going to drag things down. We know that. But for you to be so young, and I asked you pre-show how old you are, and I mean to be a young man like that, it's not easy for young people because it's more easy to be consumed by the glitz and glamour and the eye candy and things that look pretty. So just explain how are you able to do it? How are you able to distract a lot of that influx and that flow of negative energy coming your way, or are you even having to deal with this? Some people don't necessarily have to deal with that. Have you found a way to surround yourself with positivity pretty much at all times?
Um, well, at any time you're coming up in like a sport and you're noticed or you're just trying to get somewhere or grow, there's always going to be some the group of people that don't like to see someone growing, or jealous people maybe that are wanting to do what you're doing. And I just really I try to ignore it the best I can possible, and usually it works because the people around me will keep a good mindset on me. Or I just been through it so much now that I just keep pushing through it. And it's as after you get that mental toughness, when you get in spots like that, I feel like it just keeps getting easier and easier to do it, just like a workout or a diet. It gets easier to do after you do it for a while. So it's been it always comes with what you want to do. And if you're any other kids that want to keep up on a sport and you're looking to get to the top level, there's going to be negative things that try to come through. You just got to keep pushing through it, man. and keep surrounding yourself around great people, great vibes, and positivity, and you'll be able to get through anything.
I've noticed that you can, you have this charisma about you. You can charm, it seems like anybody. You know, I watch your, well, I'm being serious. I watch your videos, your personal videos. I mean, it's a, it's pretty much compiled of you helping others. Not all of your videos is just Dylan flexing muscles or Dylan boxing or training or it's not all about that, what you have noticed. And I think that's why the universe is treating you in this manner, is because there are things that you cannot hide from the universe, or some people just simply call him God. There are certain things you cannot hide. So when you just let it all out and you show these people that, look, I care about this young person. I mean, I've watched you train little young developing fighters, whether it's a boy, a female. I've watched you devote your time into amputees, people. I've seen you wrestle what appear to be a gentleman that's missing what 80% of his body. I mean, you have no qualms, no, I don't know the right word I'm searching for here, but you have feelings and you care about everybody. Is that just something that naturally consumed you, or is it something that you had to develop? Did you ever feel like there was a point in your young life that you needed to change, or has this always been you?
Well, growing up, there's been moments that I was there and no one really was paying attention, or there was times where there was no one really there for me, and I felt like I was there by myself. So I feel like that taught me something great. Like you said, I love helping everybody. And I know, especially the people that took care of me or helped me or brought me in when I didn't have many people around. And I just think about that when I see someone else, and I don't see difference in anybody. I just see everybody's equal, no matter if you have a half a body, if you're a female, African American. I love everybody. I love people. I love talking to people. I love meeting new people, and no matter who it is, I will always hold my hand out, and it makes me feel better doing what I do too, to be able to spread that, because there's not a lot of it left right now.
Yeah, you make a good point. It just seems like there's just not enough of it going around. So you're doing your part, so to speak. If somebody had to be on the outside like the rest of us looking in and say, well, here it is, Dylan, man, look, he's pretty much in the limelight. I mean, he's exceeding boundaries. People have doubted him, but somehow he keeps bouncing back and showing people his resiliency. It was your father that told me the story about you, and I would have never guessed it, Dylan, had he not told me. He said, well, there was a time I remember when Dylan was young. He had a bully. He used to get picked on a lot. And I'm thinking to myself, just when he said that, I'm thinking, what, Dylan? I can't really picture Dylan getting picked on or having a bully or whatever. But evidently, this is a true story. So he's like, yeah, picked on him a lot. He used to come home and, he used to be upset about it and talk about it. He said, and then there was just a phase in your life where all of a sudden you just grew. he said your father Bill said he just grew, and then after that nobody messed with Dylan again. That's what he said. I'm quoting what he said. He said after that nobody ever messed with Dylan again.
It's a true story.
So can you? I mean, do you know the story that he's talking about? I mean,
yeah.
Hey, I had to go there. But how many people do you tell that story to? Is that something that you tell people, or you kind of keep it under wraps a little bit?
I've met a few friends and stuff that were maybe down or something, and I'll bring it up to them. Not many people know that though. But yeah, they will.
I'm sorry. Look. Always remember on the Speak Your Mind show, and I've been proving this to all our guests that have been coming in recent and of past, that I will ask a personal question, and you can choose. Hey, you can plead the fifth. It's your God-given right. If you don't want to answer the question, you can. I'm just glad that you
No,
did. And
it's all
yeah,
right.
these things matter to people. They do.
Yeah.
They matter because people want to know the personal side, and things that you've really been through, and true stories. People
Oh
love
yeah.
true stories. So,
Yeah, I was bullied for a little bit in elementary school, and I was really overweight, and
mhm.
then they just started picking on me, and it got to me a little bit, and then after that, I just grew and started lifting and stuff, and then they didn't pick on me much more after that.
Well, this is what you look like now, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. This is how cut this gentleman is. He is I don't know, man. I don't think I've ever looked like that. And how old are you again, Dill?
I turned 21 in January.
21. So you turned 21 in January.
Yep.
So you were finally able to enter bars legally at just
Yeah.
this year, just the
Yep.
turn of 2021. But that's what he looks like, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, he's doing a lot. He's a MMA fighter, which we're going to talk a little bit more about here in a second. There he is in the ring. And in this picture right here, Dylan, is this after you won, or is this like pre-fight, or what? Where's this image from? What was this after?
This was right after they told me I won the fight, my last MMA fight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking good right there, brother. Looking real good. So let's talk a little bit about this back and forth, this cycling, this transitional phase you're in, where you're able to toggle between sports, physical sports where you're putting your body on the line. And I don't know many people that would actually do that. I mean, it's easier to just go get in a street fight, but no, here you are willing to fight anybody essentially on the planet in both MMA and in the boxing ring, where rules change and differences apply. So let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, and before I ask, well, I'll ask, and you can, if you remember the question, which I'm sure you will. Which one do you actually prefer to do more or want to excel in? I mean, or does it matter to you?
I'm really looking forward to excelling in MMA and making it to the top show in MMA, UFC, Bellator, the top promotions, and I think it's gonna happen really, really soon. Um, and I do the boxing because I was grown a wrestler, and doing the boxing, I'm being forced to use my hands, which makes me, if I do get in the cage with somebody that only throws hands or is good at wrestling, I'll be able to beat them on their feet too. So it's just forcing me to do something and be comfortable being uncomfortable, which is a big part of this game.
Okay. Well, I remember, and I'm going to date this back a little bit. The last interview I had with you, we did. I was what Kenwood High? Was that over? No, that
Yeah, it
was
was at Kenwood High
Kenwood, right?
School. Yep.
So in which you wrestled over at Kenwood.
Yes.
So we did the interview in the wrestling room, and you mentioned what you're currently doing now. Do you remember the interview? You
Yes.
said that you were going to do that. It's just like you're talking everything that you want to do into fruition. You're bringing everything to life, and I just think it's a great thing, because you're a good person. You got a great heart, and not only that, you're a physical specimen, which means that you're capable of doing all of the above. You can, like you said, I watched the interview, that last interview you had, and you'll move up in weight if you have to. Heck, you'll cut a couple pounds if you have to. You've figured out discipline, how to manage your eating, how to exercise properly. Can you tell people what that's like? Now, granted, being young, as you get older, like myself, metabolism changes. It might not be so easy to switch weight and go up and down and all that. So explain to people how you're able to do it. It just and would you consider it easy, or is it a little bit trying at times?
Um. Well, when you see if you have friends that don't do it, or if you're with friends that aren't really about doing the fight game, it's sometimes it gets tough when they walk in with some pizza or something. You're trying to cut down some weight. But if you just if you really want to do something and you love what you do and you have a passion for it, you should be able to do anything you want to make it happen. And that's what I'm doing. I love the sport. I love fighting. It's a crazy, nerve-wracking sport, but it's what I love to do. And if they're gonna be not willing to fight me at a certain weight, but there's still another chance or opening at another weight to fight someone else, I'm gonna make it happen. And sometimes it gets tough. Sometimes I'll eat my meal at the end of the night and I'll be like, damn, that's not enough. But I always end up making it happen because I love it so much and I don't want to have to cut that last few pounds on the last day.
Nah, I completely understand. I don't know how you're just able to do it. I wish I had that kind of discipline. Now, granted, I do understand that you can't overindulge in anything if you or you're just gonna you're hurting yourself.
Right.
And I know you know that but it's different as a young person who just wants to eat. Your body's growing and still developing. Like you said, the homies come in with pizza and whatever, and you're looking at them like, that's pizza, but I gotta fight. I'm hungry. I got a fight coming up in a couple days, And let's talk a little bit about this fight. All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. April 10th in Kentucky. Dylan the Mindless Hulk Budka. And there you see his sponsors. I have to mention shameless self-promotion. As you see right there, there's Strowman Entertainment Television in there, who is a proud sponsor of Dylan Budka and everything that he's doing. And we'll continue to sponsor you too, by the way, Dill. We're going to take this journey and just see how far it goes and, have fun along the way because that's what it's about. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, man. I appreciate you. Like I said, you're close to home, close to my heart. I had an opportunity to coach you and just be around you. Now it's difficult. Like, when's the next time we're going to see you? Heck, you were in town not too long ago, but you didn't get a chance to stay too long. So we're all so busy in life.
Yeah.
You came and went essentially. You were here and then you were back in Ohio. So just let's talk a little bit about this fight coming up and your opponent. Give us the scoop on your opponent and what's your game plan? What is your and your coaching staff's game plan towards facing this opponent?
He's a very experienced fighter. He's been doing it for a little longer than me. I've been doing it for about 10 months. He's been doing it for about, I'm guessing, 4 or 5 years. And he's went against some really tough opponents. He's pretty good all around on the field, but my tools and everything I feel like are way better than his. The game plan this fight is to showcase maybe not as much wrestling, but show these hands off finally in that cage and put on a show for everybody there. I'm pretty confident with everything right now. It's probably the most confident I've been going into a fight. And I think this is going to be the best fight I've had so far.
Okay, well, that's a good mindset. It's always best to go in feeling as though you're going to win. You don't want to go into any kind of challenge in life thinking that you're going to lose or doubting yourself. So, for somebody like me, again, I like to ask the questions that really hit home. So, and there was a pun intended when I say hit in this case. So has anybody really hit you good yet? I mean, have you really felt as though you've been rocked? And the reason why I'm asking you this, Dylan, is because you can be a really good offensive guy. Because I watch you. You got some. I saw you did a flying jump overhand right. I think that's called. Correct me if my terms are.
The Superman punch.
Yes, I see you come in, and connect. So you can be offensive all day and piece your opponent apart enough to earn you the victory in points or what have you. But what about sustaining blows? Have you, let's say, surprised yourself? It's not like you go around saying, hit me now. Right. I want to see how many blows or how much punishment I can tolerate. So you're actually having to find out in the ring. What is it like? And have you felt as though you've really been hit really hard and you can sustain a pretty good blow to your face area? That is, body shots are different. Talking about the face right now and the jaw.
I've actually only been hit in the last two MMA fights 2 or 3 times, and all of them have been on the ground when I went down to the ground. Nobody's hit me on my feet yet. Um, I've probably been hit hardest in practice by my sparring partners. And I've been rocked a few times in practice by one of he's ranked number like 3 in Ohio right now. He just won his pro debut. Jaden
Yeah.
Talker, another good fighter, Ferraris Golden. They're both really good training partners of mine, and they hit the shit out of me, man. And
Yeah.
I've been able to withstand them, so I don't think many amateurs are going to be able to hit me harder than that.
And that's a great point that you raised there, or just bringing it up in general. And I see you, most of your videos, or a lot of them, have been you sparring or whatever. I've seen you accidentally kick one of your sparring partners, and I loved it. It's one of my favorite videos of yours. And he kind of stumbled back like he was really hurt, and it was like, I'm just messing. So, but it's obvious you guys have a pretty good team over there. I've noticed that the way you all move around, you move around as a unit. These fight dates are scheduled for everybody on that respective team to have bouts and matches and things of that nature, and everybody's doing pretty good. So when it comes down to training and sparring with these guys, you're dealing with some pretty good athletes in the ring, and that's how you know it, pretty much what to be ready for when the actual fight takes place, right? Is that what you're doing? You're by your training there, and that's what training's supposed to do. So it's obviously cliche, but at the same time, how much is it really helping you, these guys that you have in on your team essentially?
Having them in there, it's why my progress is moving so quick. There's over 6 pros in here, I'm pretty sure, and they're all top athletes. They're known everywhere, and most of them are probably going to be in the UFC in the next 2 to 3 years. Demolition Fight Team's ranked number 1 in Ohio right now for one of the best gyms in Ohio, and Ohio is a big fight state with wrestlers, MMA fighters, and having all these fighters in here, having all these different talents. I know if I needed to work on my wrestling, I have another wrestler in here that would kick my ass. I know if we have to have a Muay Thai guy, he's going to come in and kick me. If I need somebody that's going to box me, I'll go to Jaden. If I need somebody that's going to do all of it and give it to me the whole package, go to Ferraris. There's always somebody in here that I can work with that'll correct something of mine that I'm doing wrong and make me look like how they look before I'm even in the spot that they're at. And that's how I'm progressing so quickly.
So who is it that you have to give a shout out to? Like who is scheduling all this stuff for you guys, for your team? Who's diligently working hard to make sure that these fights are lined up? And obviously it's the athletes that are training each other to make each other better. But somebody's in that upper office, in that back office, scheduling these things. Who is that person, or people per se?
Well, he doesn't like to be in the limelight at all, but Gary Young, he gave me a call about 9 months ago before I moved here, and he was like, come get in here and we'll take care of you. And I trusted him. I trusted his word, and he's making everything happen that he said would happen, and I appreciate it. He scheduled all 5 of the fights I've had in the past 9 months. He's scheduled my practices. He's given me the right diets to eat. He's put my foot in doors that weren't in before I met him. And he's done a lot of work, and he works his ass off just as me behind doors. And he does a lot of work for me to make sure all this is happening, make sure I can perform in front of hundreds of people already. I'm only 2 MMA fights in.
Okay, well, shouts out to him. Appreciate him for taking care of my little brother, and we family. So I don't want to have to come to Ohio. Not that I get very far in that group of athletes. They'd be like, "Hey, where's Dylan? Who's the one that did it?"
Right.
It wouldn't last very long. Then I'd be on a bus ride or plane ride back home. So, but yeah, you don't want to get in that circle talking too much trash around all those guys. But it's cool to see people that believe in the team. That somebody assembled a pretty good team in that demolition squad that you guys got over there. And I've seen a lot of these guys. I might not have known who they were, but you post their stuff, you share what they're doing, you're in photos together. So you guys believe in each other, and that strength in numbers and that camaraderie. Oh, it can take you places, man. It can take you places, especially when each of you and all of you believe in each other the way you do, because
Very
you're
true.
constantly pushing each other to get better. Very, very impressive. Proud of you on that tip. Keep your team together. I wanted to ask you. So, how far down the road have you projected? Because you do know there's a life expectancy with that industry that you're in, bro. You're not going to be able to fight for the rest of your life. And I know you went to school. You went to college for a little while as well,
Right.
right? So what is your end game if you've even thought that far down the road?
I want to take this to the next level, of course, and I want to be pro by the end of this year. And I want to fight till I'm not able to do it anymore, which I think I'm going to be able to fight for a long time because I take good care of my body.
Hmm.
And after that, I want to pass on my knowledge to everybody and maybe inspire some other guys that want to do this game just like I am, and hopefully can show them the right way to do it so they don't mess up and can do it as long as I possibly do.
It's funny. I was going to say that. I can see you coaching. It was a premeditated question. I'm thinking I kind of know what he might want to do. I mean, once you get in the industry like that, I mean, the sky's the limit. You can coach. You can be a trainer. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, that one day you're not going to be able to do it no more. The thing is also what you mentioned. You're starting so young. You're taking care of your body. You're talking longevity. As
Yeah.
long as you stay on the right path, and nothing major, or you don't do anything to hurt yourself per se. You know. So let's get into another deep. Well, I don't know if you'll call it deep because you know me, but it's a deep question for me to throw at you for the audience. Are you experiencing anybody out there that's trying to test you? I mean, you walking down the street, or anybody know, hey, ain't you Dylan? I mean, does that happen, or is that just stuff you see on TV? Is there anybody saying, hey, you know, and it's almost like it would be a compliment if it does happen. It's like, hey, aren't you Dylan the Hulk Budka?
I haven't had it
I think
happen.
you're soft, man.
I haven't had nobody have the balls to do it in person yet, but I've had messages sent to me online a few times, or my buddies will be sitting here and say something.
Right. You know that whole testosterone, that whole man, I can take him. That whole man, like he don't look that tough. Yeah, people really really go through those things within themselves, don't they?
Yeah, I've had a lot of messages sent to me saying the same stuff like that.
Oh, high school buddy. Oh, yeah, I used to push Dylan around. He was soft in high school, man. I'm telling you, man, those guys. I'm telling you, it's staged. It ain't real.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of things that just didn't appear real, your last match that I saw with that big guy, the big black guy with all the muscles. What I mean, what were you thinking when you stepped into the ring with this guy? I mean, how much confidence, how much do you have to believe in yourself to even convince yourself that you can beat a guy like that?
All the way until the octagon, I was pretty confident, and I'm not gonna lie, I was standing across the cage from him, and I was looking at him. I was like, "What am I doing?" And he was yelling and screaming. I was like, "Damn!" And then I heard that door lock, and when you hear that door lock when you're in there,
Mhm.
it's like it sounds like it's 10 times louder, and it's just. And I was like, "All right, here we go." And it was crazy. I underestimated the nerves so much when I got in
Sure.
there, and I was like, "This is a crazy feeling." And I've said this so many times in the past few months. I was like, "It's so nerve wracking getting in that cage." But every time I walk out, I feel like I want to go back in there, and it's crazy.
Yeah. So, do you feel as though your ground game right now is the best, or do you feel as though your boxing game? Because see, that's why you're toggling around. I mean, you can box. You don't have to wrap up and take people down and get them in some kind of lock move or grappling move or try to take them out on the ground.
Right.
So, what do you feel is the best part of your game? And if I'm not mistaken, if I remember that fight, because I watched the whole thing, I'm just trying to. It was mixed up. There was a little ground game. You boxed a little bit, but for somebody like that, it seemed like you were able to really wear him down. He seemed more tired than what you appeared to be. So what is that like? I've wrestled for a short period of time, Dale.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only thing I did professionally in high school, and then my grades dropped, and I couldn't do that anymore.
Right.
But I remember it was the longest 3 minutes of my life. They picked the coach. The coach picked the smallest dude who was the best wrestler, and I was bigger, and I couldn't beat him. So, explain to us what that's like in those lock moves and how much it takes out of you.
When you're doing MMA, it's nothing like I underestimated so much going in there, because I've wrestled and the matches were long, and I was like, but they're not long enough to where I'm dead at the end.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the cage, you're thinking about this man across the cage that is trained to do exactly what you do,
Mm-hmm.
that wants to punch you, that wants to kick you, that wants to pick you up and slam you, and maybe possibly break a limb.
Yeah.
And when you're thinking of someone in front of you doing that, and you're trying to do the same thing to him without that happening to you, it wears and tears on your brain, and you're in the middle of the round when you get that minute and a half. That minute and a half feels like 10 seconds because your body's trying to heal back up from the nerves, the emotions, and like I can go 30 minutes in the room, but when I get in that cage, the first minute in, you're breathing heavy because just the nerves and emotion. It's just in the end, it honestly, my coach says all the time, 95% of it is just being mentally tough and
Right.
just staying strong and ready to go, not backing down. And when you get tired, pushing that next breath. So
I want to go back to something we were talking about earlier, when you said you really haven't been hit that much. Um, do you feel as though that's just been your opponents, or do you think that your defensive strategy has been pretty sound as a young fighter and across the board?
well, I've went over a lot of head movement drills so that I don't get hit as much. And with the boxing training and everything, I feel like it's making me see the punches come more and getting used to staying in the pocket because it's weird. But when you stop worrying about getting hit, you stop getting hit because you can see them coming. You're not thinking about it as much because when you start thinking about it, you slow down. But when you're just loose and you're flowing, the punches start missing and you start connecting, and it gets funner that way too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seems like when I watch your stance, and you're not a small guy. Like I think you've actually gotten smaller because I remember when you were real big. Now remember, I've stood side by side of you,
Right.
and with you. And when you were in high school, there was a point you were a massive dude. Like you're not. I don't know. If people out there they can't tell, especially on the street. And you're sitting down now, but unless you know Dylan, you don't know how tall he is. He's actually a pretty tall gentleman, and he's big boned with. And now there was a time I remember when you had a little bit of fat on you.
Oh yeah.
There was a time in high school, and what really wasn't all that long ago. But now you're leaner. But just real quick, how tall are you?
5'11". I like to say 6 foot sometimes though.
Yeah, yeah, you're slightly shy of 6 foot, and
Yeah.
the average height of a man usually runs about 5'7" to about 5'8", 5'9". So he's a little taller than the average. If I stand beside you, you look like you said 6 foot. You know what I mean? Because I am an average height man. So
I used to say 6. I used to say 6'2" on my recruiting thing though.
Mhm. Well, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
I look bigger in pads.
You look well. Yeah, you look massive in pads. I mean, you remember how they moved you around. Coach Duncan put you everywhere. You were like you were center at times. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I mean, you played some big time positions because of your size and how aggressive you were. But look at how you were able to transition that into what you're doing now. I didn't know until we did the interview that this is what you wanted to do. But even then, it's a pipe dream, Dylan. It's a pipe dream.
Right.
Now you're in true MMA cage matches with top notch production teams around covering these pay per view fights, and it's real. So tell the audience what that's like. These pay per view fights, and there are people out there actually benefiting and profiting off of your talents. Now, I don't know, and of course, I don't want you to talk about the finances or anything, but somehow, this is all you're doing there, right? Do you have a regular job, or are you surviving off of fighting and training?
I'm doing this full time.
Wow. 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 And that's something to be able to, at a young age, set course to do this straight out of high school, pretty much do a little bit of college, and boom, you're already in a full-time gig in a pro sport, still labeled an amateur. However, but that's your goals. I mean, with your goals being to become pro, and you're already doing this full-time, it seems like the sky's the limit. And you were the right choice. So you can say, hey, look, I got a guy, I know somebody. His name's Dylan. He's a great fighter. He's young. He's got his ceiling's high. We need to train him, or whatever. Let's work with him and help him get to where he needs to be. He would be the perfect prospect for that. And somebody that's already happened back there. But that's my point. So that's got to be a pretty good feeling for you, personally. So I mean, just explain what that feels like to somebody that just has no idea what that's like, Dylan, to do something like. You got people who are in trade school. You got people who do 8 years of college to find their dream job. Here you are. What in what matter of time did you accomplish all this? I know I threw a lot at you, but you know where I'm going.
Every time I still look back at some of the videos from the fight, and I'm like, damn, I was on that pay-per-view. And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I look back at when I was walking out, how many times I've thought about it in my head, my first walkout, how it's gonna be, or watching like Conor McGregor and everybody do it, and then seeing myself do it, I'm like, that's pretty dope. And then just like you said, like I was telling you 2 years ago, I was gonna be doing this.
Yep.
And now it's just happening, and it's happening full time. And I feel blessed. It feels awesome to be able to do it. And like I just sold out an entire boxing show myself a month ago to people that I've maybe met once in my life, and they just came from hours away just to see me box, and it feels awesome. I had a kid that's one of my biggest fans, and I had him sing a song for me while I walked out, and gave him my medal afterwards. It's just stuff you always dream of when you're growing up, to be able to do it. You feel like the Creed, or you feel like the Rocky Balboa, and it feels awesome.
Why didn't I have on my Dylan Hulk the Budka, my hoodie? What was I thinking? Man. Oh, you just reminded me. Ladies and gentlemen, he is basically a household name already. Everybody, pictures coming in from everywhere. I'm talking little babies. I'm talking babies that aren't even 1 year old yet. 1 year old. You got girls, you got guys, you got old people, you got young people, you got people all over the country. And I would almost say, I don't know where they're from. It might even be the world, people that are representing the brand, that Hulk Budka brand. And it is amazing. It's got to be an amazing feeling. And I do have a hoodie, and I'm disappointed in myself. That's all right. I'll bring you back. I'll bring you back after the fight. Win, lose, or draw. Win, lose, or draw. You're coming back. We're going to talk about the fight, and I'm going to have my demolition Dylan the Hawk Budka hoodie on. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, and also, I can't think. What's that drink place that sponsors you too? You do commercials for them as well, and let's talk a little bit about that.
I met them for my first boxing title fight, and they said they wanted to get with me, and I would. That's actually one of my main diet plans. It's power
Hmm.
nutrition
The
and
power up, yeah.
Herbalife. It's good meal prep stuff, and it clears your system out. It keeps you healthy. It's like a meal replacement shake.
Hmm.
And she brought me in, the owner of there, and she was like, "Let me help you," because she knew I was doing it full time. And
Hmm.
he was like, "We're gonna give you your own shake on the menu." And I was like, "Huh, that's pretty dope. That's something else
Yeah,
you wish
yeah,
happened one day." And
yeah.
I was like, "Let's do it." And people loved it all over this area, Findlay, Ohio. I just started filling the place up with people, and they just loved like me being there, promoting it, and I've probably sold over 500 shakes in the last few months, and they made an official shake on the menu now, and it's awesome too because now when they walk in, they see the Mindless Hawk shake and a picture of me in there. So
It's just amazing, man, what you're doing. It's sometimes you feel like you got to sit back and maybe pinch yourself to see if all this is really happening. I mean, it's just like, wow. So you're keeping your mind cleansed, obviously, and your body as well. Are you trying to involve yourself with a love interest or a life partner at this young phase in your life, where you pretty much shying away from those things right now and staying focused? I mean, hey, let's talk about it.
um uh,
I got you, Dylan. I got you. Look, I'm
oh
ready. I
man.
told you, be ready for the show, man. Be ready. It's coming.
um ah,
Cause you listen, take your time. Cause listen, it's tough. Good looking guy, got a future ahead of him. I mean, you got people all over again. That's just Ohio. You're from here and you're from Maryland, okay? You got all these supporters pretty much all over the country. And a lot of them are pretty young ladies. So what are you supposed to do? I mean, eventually you're going to say, hey, look, hey, but one thing I know about you before you even answer the question is you are not going to let anything distract you from your goals. That's one thing because if you were that vulnerable, you wouldn't be where you're at right now. You have a lot of buddies, and I've seen some of your buddies growing up. You growing up, and me growing up too, or in this area, um, that didn't make it very far. Some of them, aren't even with us anymore. And then there's other ones that chose different paths in life too. However, look at what you did. So, how are you able to do it? How are you able to keep certain interests like that away if that's what you're doing? And it's obvious that that's what you're doing. But what are your future goals for that? Are you actually thinking about maybe there is somebody maybe down the road?
um I feel like eventually when I make sure of things that this if there is the someone um that person is going to understand 100% that, like you said, that this is the
Hmm.
full go, this is it, this is how I'm going to support
Right.
whatever I need to support.
Right.
And of course that is an interest that I have, and having a
Sure.
family and giving something to a kid that I have and showing them how to do it, and one day eventually that'll happen. And I'm excited for that too also, and hopefully
Yeah.
that I can keep pushing the way I am so I can give them everything they want, because
Yeah. I mean,
that'll be an awesome feeling too.
yeah, well, absolutely. You want to raise a family one day, but it's got to be tough. Even if you win a fight, you come home, pops got a little black eyes. Like, damn, pop, you kicked his tail, you knocked him out. Oh, come here, let's put some ice on that eye. Come here, come here, honey. You all right? Lay back for a minute. But that's it. That's the whole Rocky Balboa.
Yep.
Hey, look, I'm gonna win the fight. I'm gonna earn the money. Adrian. I'm gonna take care of you, honey. I'm gonna take care of you. I won. We did it. right? Am I
Yeah.
lying? I mean,
And
that's the path you chose.
what you were just saying. I just want to make sure that if I do get a tough L one day, that then people that I have in my corner are still going to be there, sitting there waiting for me at home, still there supporting, and not just there for the limelight.
Mm-hmm. It's so awesome, man. And like I said, you knew I was gonna take it a couple places with you, man. In this conversation, it's just awesome to hear you say these things. This is the your character that comes out. You can't run from it. You know, you are who you are, and it's just going to come out, and it might come out at the wrong time. So it's
Right.
good when you know who that person is. You know what I mean, and you can
Yeah.
come out when it's time and you're ready. Like, I'm not hiding. I'm gonna tell you about me, and which leads me to another question, because this humble guy that we're looking at on the screen does a lot of, I don't know, little Sugar Ray Leonard dancing. What's up with all this? I don't know, man. I'm like, is is he showing off right now? He's dancing. I forget what did Muhammad call it? I forget the
Ali
okey doke. Yeah, the okey doke. And I mean, what's going on? What's up with all the showboat, man? Now listen. I'm asking you this legitimately, because remember, we're talking about the humble guy that just got finished saying all this stuff. That is really you. But when you're in the ring, you're something different. How are you still able to settle in, showboat, and still be the fighter that you need to be to win?
Well, when I get in there, sometimes it just because I've watched all them guys. I've watched Muhammad Ali. I've watched all them guys that showboat and did all that stuff. And sometimes when I get in there, I just want to see how they felt when they were doing it. And I said this in my interview the other day. Them people want to see a show. They want to be entertained. And like you like to entertain people.
Yeah.
I like to entertain people when I go out there. And they like when they see me move my feet and then I punch them in the face. They love that. You'll hear
The
them
crowd go
yell.
off.
It's like, okay, that worked. They like that. And then I'll go back in my zone, or I'll hit a quick angle and then throw my hand up and hit him with the hand I was throwing up, and I hear the crowd roar again, and I'm like, okay, they're here with me. And when I hear people yell with me and stuff, it makes me more comfortable in there, knowing that they're excited to
Supporting
see
you.
what I'm doing.
So you're giving people their money's worth. You're a true, you know, entertainer with the sportsmanship factor included. You're a sportsman. You want to put on a show.
Right.
You don't just want to go in there and fight and win the fight, but you want to give everybody everything that their heart so called desire. Because I'm noticing that your support for your sponsors, you want your sponsors to know that you care about them. You just you really you you're reaching for from all directions and pulling it all in, and that's essentially what that is in a ring, because you could freeze up in a ring. That's the ring. That guy across from you can knock you out if you get caught messing around,
Very true.
or drop your guard. But you know that, but yet and still you're gonna give them what they want. So I just commend you, man. I mean, if I ever had the dream to get in the ring and become a fighter, let's say it was a thought at one point, that's gone. You know, you gotta be able to go out there and do what you want to do and what you love to do before that opportunity pass. You know, and
Right.
you know you've taken on the dream and quest of possibly knocking people out, boy. Bow. I mean, to legally fight and love it. Now, let me ask you a question, because I used to always hear you have to when you become a professional, you have to have your hands licensed. I mean, are your hands licensed? Are those considered lethal weapons if you get into a street fight or something like that?
When I turn pro, they're considered. I could get a heavier charge because I use them. If I ever
Hmm.
get in a street fight with somebody, but right now at this moment they're not. But I stay out of trouble most of the time, so I don't like. I'd fight too much. I don't want to fight nobody else on the street.
Right. You fight for training. It's just your life. You get up and what is that? What is that like? While I'm on this line of questioning, do you get up early a lot? Or I mean, you don't seem to be the guy that sleeps in all day. It's obvious you're not you're not indulging in any illegal substances. We know that. But what about drinking? Do you like to drink a little alcohol from here and there
Oh yeah,
sometimes?
I keep it under control, but like after a big fight or something, I'll drink very large amount, and then
Celebrate, yeah, baby, we won. Drinks
uh,
on me. Drinks on me.
yep, and maybe 1 or 2 days, and then cut it off from there. Um, that's pretty much it, and then I'm right back to training. I only take 2 or 3 day breaks because there ain't no need. The big guys, they'll take maybe a week or two off, but they're at the big show. They can do that. Right now, I can only take a day or two. That's another reason why I don't really come home that much, but I'll be home soon. So,
So you are coming back to Maryland soon.
yeah,
Okay.
we're going to meet up. We're going to meet up finally
Yeah.
in person.
Yeah, because this time, give me heads up when you're coming into town because I want to try to maybe even schedule around it. Maybe do something live. Maybe another little live interview, or maybe even if I can set it up because we do our show at TV Free on Thursdays. So if you happen to, if you can schedule it, and I know that you'll be in town and you'll be there during a Thursday of that week or the Thursday of that week, then I'll have you as the special guest in the studio and you can sit in because
Okay.
we were just going to do it remotely. You would have been like you are in Ohio now had we had gotten the show scheduled for you to be on a Thursday
Right.
before your fight on the 10th. So,
Yeah.
and by the way, the fight, look out for it. There he is once again, Dylan the Mindless Hulk Budka, April 10th in Kentucky. There you see his sponsors. These are people sponsoring the show. Now, mind you, Dylan has had up to 50 some odd sponsors at one time, and probably in line to get more. Could have had more, but this particular fight, it was limited sponsors that were going to be brought on board for it. So that's just awesome to see you growing like that. See people who are in your corner and supporting you and things of that nature. Now, I just wanted to say real quick too. I have a colleague of mine, Travis Short. He lives in Kentucky.
Okay.
And we do a live feed. Another show, Warrior Mode with Bill Bean. We do that every Sunday night. His feed is coming from where he lives in a place called London, Kentucky. Have you ever heard of London, Kentucky?
No.
London.
No.
Okay.
No. I wonder how far
Okay.
it is from where
Yeah.
I'm going to be.
Yeah, it's so where is your fight in Kentucky actually taking place? Do you have the town?
Covington, Kentucky.
Covington. I'm going to do my own research, and this is just a random question, just for as they say, shits and giggles, because I'm curious because I've never been to Kentucky,
Right.
okay, but here you are living, going there to fight, and you're just moving around the country right now, like wherever the fight is, you'll go.
Right.
So it's pretty interesting to see these things happening. And are you taking this all in? I mean, you're just like, I mean, how are you commuting? Do you have yourself a vehicle, or are you riding local transportation? I mean, how are you getting around town these days?
I actually bought my first car a few months ago.
Okay.
Which was a pretty big accomplishment for me. But I have a good group of people that always carpool with me and travel with us. And usually, whatever card I'm on, we have another fighter or two on it, and we'll all just carpool. And luckily, the promotions, they'll take care of your hotel and stuff like that. Or if we're going far out to where you have to take an airplane, they'll take care of the airplane ticket for you and your packaging and stuff. So the promotions take pretty good care of their fighters if you're fighting on a card.
Wow, man. I mean, hey, I look, I'm impressed. A lot of these questions that I'm asking, I just wanted to know myself. I mean, it's not even so much for the audience right now because they'll have a chance to watch this feed later and they can, grasp their own take on you. But it's like, this is what a young 21-year-old who just turned 21, who I knew had the joy and pleasure of being around. It feels really good to me. So again, I've just been enjoying this time with you. I'm not going to keep you much longer. Um, Plus, there's going to be a follow up. I want to know. I want to see, I guess, how this fight's going to turn out. I haven't seen no. You know how to do the pre-show fights like you did with the other guy. I haven't seen that yet. I don't know nothing about this guy other than what you said, but I just know one thing: he better look out because the Hulk is coming. That I do know. But before we close this show out, tell everybody how they can find you on IG, social media platforms, so they can follow along to see what you're doing and what you're up to.
Okay. First, I want to thank you for having me on the show again, brother. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're welcome, man.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Mindless Hulk, MINDLESSHULK. You can follow everything's underneath the Mindless Hulk. I also have my merch page underneath Mindless Merch, and you can find me keep up to date with that. The next fight's going to be on Premier MMA, so if you want to watch that, you can go to premiermma.com, and the link will be right there for you to click, and all you got to do is put my name in, and you'll be good to watch it on April 10th. And I appreciate you having me again, brother.
No problem. Well, you know what I'm gonna do. If I can't get to it myself, all I gotta do is go to your Pop's page. He'll have his laptop with the fight on there and his cell phone covering. Hey, look, man. Hey, look. Hey, however you can get it. I don't care. Now, like I said, all you got to do for everybody out there, all you have to do is use Dylan's name as the promo code that'll get you access to the fight. So for everybody else, how much is that fight to watch it via pay-per-view?
It's gonna be either $25 or $30. Watch pay-per-view, and if you have a smart TV, you can pull it up on there real easy too.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I mean, I don't have a smart TV. Like I said, I'm going back door. I'm cheating. I'm cheating. But you know, I'm just messing too. You know, I support you again. Strowman Entertainment Television is one of your sponsors. And you know, we take care of each other, so we're going to continue to do that. I'm going to keep pumping the show coming up. It's going to be a busy weekend. I know you probably got an early schedule, especially leading to the fight. It's literally next week. Before I let you go, any Easter plans?
Easter plans? Mm-hmm. I can eat one plate of food tomorrow.
One plate.
So everybody. It's only two meats, no potatoes, really, probably. Light everything. So everybody watching, eat a good big old plate of food for me.
Yep. Hey, eat up, right? And look, the more you eat, the more you can look like this. Just eat whatever you want. Don't worry about nothing. If they say it's too fatty, don't worry about it. Just tell them that Dylan the Hulk Budka said if you eat whatever you want, he said it's okay. If you want a body like that, you can do whatever you want. That's what I'm just kidding. He never said that. I said that. I'm just kidding. I just had to make you chuckle a little bit before we get off here, man. And hey, if that guy, I don't know his name, and I'm on some rock, it doesn't matter what your name is. I don't care what his name is. I know what your name is. If he was standing in front of you right now, what would you say to him? What does he have to look out for come April 10th?
Everything.
Yeah, I love it. Say no more. Look, Dill, it was great talking to you again. I'm gonna get you back on. I'll be reaching you in your inbox, trying to figure out and find out when we can get you at TV Free for our next Speak Your Mind show.
I appreciate it.
All right, you have a good night. Oh yeah, absolutely, and tell everybody I said hello in Ohio. Okay.
Okay, I will.
Love you, brother. Love. See you, brother. Have a good one. Good night. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was Dylan the Hulk Budka. Big fight coming up for him on April 10th, which is just Saturday. He gave you the links on how you can watch it. It is a pay-per-view fight. There's a little promo code you can use. That's his name. Just go back into this feed and watch it again. And you can watch the fight. I told you, I wasn't joking. His father, Bill, he's going to have that feed, and I'm going to be watching it on that feed, probably if I can't get access to it myself, depending on what's going on that day. Actually, I have school that day actually, and we got a casting call, so I won't be able to watch it live now that I think about it. But that's okay, because I'll be able to find out at any time how that went. And good luck to Dylan. Dylan's going to do his due diligence. He's tough. He ain't going down easy. So if anything, the other guy better watch out. All right. So I appreciate you guys for sticking around, watching this show. And again, this is the Speak Your Mind show without my partner in crime, Johnny Lang. We do that show over at TV Free, but just getting these shows back up and running. Excited about it. And stay tuned for my next guest. I don't know who that's going to be yet, but you all will be finding out soon. So until the next episode of Speak Your Mind, good night, everybody, and happy Easter.